All right, I'm gonna jump right in here. This is my attempt at a solo out and return. I say attempt, you'll see that in a minute. Here I am basically just preparing everything, got the motor running and organizing my dock lines, still tied up front. And then this is my preferred method of getting out of my slip at the moment until someone gives me a better idea. The problem is that as soon as you get in and put any reverse thrust on the motor, her nose is going to kick to the starboard and her stern will kick really hard to the left, which makes the whole problem worse. And there is a bit of wind at the moment. There's northwest wind, maybe 10 knots, variable 10 to 15 knots. And so it's all kind of pushing me towards that pretty boat on the right there, expensive looking boat. So what I choose to do is just hold on to her for as long as possible, muscle her out, and then I should have had the tiller down. I forgot to untie it, but there you go. And then I've got the motor running, give her a little juice, but immediately you'll see the nose of the boat goes to starboard. I'm very nervous that I'm going to hit something at this point, so I give it a little bit more juice, trying to get further away. And I barely missed that dude's fancy outboard motor. Not very happy with that launch. But, you know, nobody died, so here we go. So yeah, the conditions seem pretty good, and I wanted to, actually haven't been out solo sailing in quite some time. And wanted to just get out there and shake out the sail and probably just out into the bay and then back again. That was the plan. Notice the sunny weather, notice my sunglasses and the white shirt indicating that the sun is out and I don't want to put on sunscreen. Everything was looking good, but already you can see just on the horizon there, well, I guess not. You can start to see some clouds kind of building here. So this is out like at the end of the channel where I would normally like to rig up the sail, the head sail, and sail down the channel. The wind is in a favorable direction to do so. But you'll see the boat's just drifting like crazy, and because I have to raise the sail from the from the main mast, and have to be out of the cockpit, kind of off of the tiller. I don't have a whole lot of room to maneuver basically in this little spot, so I'm here I am thinking about what to do next. Do I head up into the wind and try this again? Here I am again, nose into the wind. You can see the pylons to the left. There's another one to the right, just out of frame. I'm drifting back now, and there's pylons behind me. So I think at this point, I just straight up decide to abandon this plan of setting the mainsail and just play with the head sail for a bit, see what that does. Putting up the main in this particular spot seemed too risky, so the plan was at this point to sail, or actually use the motor and the head sail down the channel out into Bodega Bay itself, and then put up the mainsail out there. That was the plan. Just out of frame, you can't really see it, but just out of frame is the little R2D2, well, I forget, it's a Raymarine 2000 or something, auto helm. And I've got that engaged, pointing me straight down the channel, and I'm just going to tidy up the mainsail here while I can. You'll notice that I'm wearing a life jacket, and I'm trying to be very, very careful, whereas in some other videos, like the last video when I went sailing down in San Francisco Bay, I was not wearing a life jacket. When you're sailing solo like this, obviously no one can come back and pick you up, so you got to be extra careful, and that's what I'm doing here today. Is I'm being extra careful. This is my version of extra careful. I've also got a handheld radio in the cockpit. All right, getting that new head sail out and working. As you can see, it is very small compared to what was there before. I don't know if you remember, but the other one was huge. This one is quite small. and I think the other one was 150%, and this one is probably 85%. So, give you an idea of the difference. But it's still working. It's got me going. It gave me an extra knot as far as speed is concerned. People passing by. The sun is still attempting to show up, or flirting with me at least. Oh, we're doing about 3 knots. It got very cold all of a sudden. The sunshine that was blessing us earlier today just went away. Behind me now is all kind of clouding in, looking foggy. I don't know how long of a trip this is going to be, but I'm determined to just at least get outside of the head and see what happens. Coming up to the dog leg bit here. I don't know if you can hear any of that. Now I'm doing 2.7 knots again, pushing a lot of tide. Let's see what happens. Little Donkey Diesel's doing well. Yeah, the temperature like dropped really quickly all of a sudden, and you can't really see, but what's behind the camera is pretty ominous looking. So I've pretty much decided at this point that I'm going to turn around and call it quits. I'm not sure why I decided to continue sailing on, or not sailing on, motor sailing forward. There's another turnaround area up here on the left-hand side, or port side. You can't see it. There's a bit of the mainsail in the way, but there is a... I think I'm going to call it. Oh, there you go. Didn't get the main up, but looking behind me, it looks like the weather's creeping in. And tomorrow's supposed to be nice too, so why push it, you know? I'm going to go up to the end of this channel here and then turn around, come home back, and hopefully get back into my slip without banging anything. The wind's picking up too, so I'm a little nervous about getting back into the slip. So disappointing, man. The sun was shining, it was blue skies. Mild wind, 10 to 15 knots. Now I'm feeling rain. So the wind really just kind of funnels and acts funny around here because it's coming straight over the top of Bodega Head, which is out into the starboard side up here. So here I am preparing for a it's not really a tack because I'm just turning around completely. It's kind of like a tack, but it's like a tack times 2. Yeah, so I steer. Basically, I don't know if you can tell, but I steer this boat with my knees. I stand astride the tiller, and I lean in the direction that I want the tiller to go, and that gives me 2 hands free, which is really, really nice. So there, I made an adjustment with my knee, coming about. Let the let the head sail backwind a little bit right there. Helps pull through the turn. And boom, we're off in the other direction. And now you can see what I was looking at, and how dramatically it changed in probably about 20 minutes, you know, like from when I left, or maybe 30 minutes from when I left the marina to this point right now. And you can see the difference in the weather. It is cloudy. It is beginning to like spit down some rain. The wind has picked up and become more steady, so now it's blowing like 15 to 20 in spots, not everywhere, because again it's coming over that headland. So yeah, it's just not very pleasant at this point. But the boat is handling well. She's doing what she's told. Still motor sailing at this point. The head sail's, you know, I don't know, what do you call it? Reefed in? Not reefed in. Pulled in? That's a good question. Quite a bit, because we're going almost directly into the wind. I don't know if you can see, but it's gray. misty, and I think I made the right decision. So yeah, a little bit further on in the channel, back towards Spud Point Marina and my slip space. The weather is just getting worse and worse. You can see some of the rain now on the camera lens itself, and I take cover behind the Dodger, which is a nice place to be. You can see me now steering the boat in a more, I guess, normal configuration. So yeah, there's a couple ways to do it, but yeah, when the sun is shining, I prefer to be up and looking over the top of the Dodger whenever possible, because you just can see better. Okay, here's some of the pylons on the starboard side right there that mark the turnaround section at the end of the channel. So I'm getting close here, and now what I'm thinking about is where and when do I, pull up the head sail. I'm gonna come through the wind as soon as she starts flapping. The idea is to reel her in. This is where a small head sail is super nice because there's not a whole lot to reel in, although the line there got tangled, but Dagny is the right size for me to basically reach across and do what I need to do without too much trouble. I can kind of stand in with the same spot right there. So now it's just full-on motor into the marina. And I'm kind of nervous at this point. Like, the wind has picked up quite a bit. I'm thinking about being blown into that fancy sport fishing catamaran thing that's parked next to me. I lose my way there a little bit, fiddling with a rope. I still have to make sure my bow line and my stern line are ready to go. So I'm thinking about all that, and the wind is blowing me off course quite a bit. So if I don't pay attention, it blows you right off course. Can't see, it's just out of frame. Just below the frame there is my little auto helm, Raymarine, I don't know what it's called. I call it R2D2. So now I've got to set it. I got that little tiller pilot going, and I can concentrate on my bow line there, running it out, making sure that it's properly threaded through the right way so it won't be all tangled up when I jump off. That's ready to go. And then I'll probably do the same thing here for the stern line. Still just preparing for me jumping off the boat by pulling down the safety line there, stowing a few things away, kind of tidying things up. I'm not really worried because the autopilot, the tiller pilot, is engaged and doing okay at this point. All right, I'm back on the helm at this point in my customary straddle position, steering with my knee quite happily, and yeah, you can see it's really starting to drizzle quite hard. It's not really raining, it's just a heavy drizzle. And I'm turning downwind at this point, about to enter into Spud Point Marina. Yeah, so I noticed there how much water was getting on my sunglasses and how kind of useless they were becoming, and realized that the camera was probably just as useless. So killed the throttle for a second and grabbed a towel and wiped off the lens there because I want to record my landing. This is probably the, like pulling into a slip is easily the most stressful thing for me to do these days, especially by myself coming in for a landing. It's so easy to mess up, and I'm insured and I've got all the things, but like I really just don't want to do anybody else's boat damage. I don't have money to fix other people's problems. So I'm very, very nervous about this whole landing the craft phase coming in, especially when there's a wind blowing. Like it looks a little calm here, but there is a wind blowing, and yeah, I'm nervous. Yeah, I guess my basic general rule so far of of docking a boat is to go as slow as humanly possible. I'm going extremely slow, taking my time. I have just enough speed to like have a bit of steerage, and it doesn't look like I'm steering the boat, but I am steering the boat with my knees at this point. And yeah, just making some calculations in my mind, kind of just drifting at this point. I'll throw it into neutral at some point in the near future, and then I'll just drift all the way in. Okay, I just took it and put it in complete neutral, and I'm making my final approach, which I swing out a little bit to port side here, and then I cut back in to starboard, the appropriate angle, and the wind hopefully doesn't blow me off course. But notice how, like, especially once I cleaned off the lens of the camera there, conditions already look a little bit better, and you'll see what happens here in a minute. But so now I'm in my ready to launch position, which is like finger on the tiller, just making tiny corrections, and I'm ready to ready to launch off the boat onto the slip pier there, with my bow line and theoretically my stern line in hand, so I can control the boat. There I go. Launch. Oh, I did not grab the stern line, so that's important, and you can see right away that that is the problem. If I had hold of the stern line as well, I wouldn't be holding on to the safety railings to hold her into the pier. So that's what I learned right there. Gotta jump with the bow and the stern. Yep. I don't actually have it on the stern. I have it on a cleat just behind I don't know, mid cockpit, I suppose. It's just easier to get to, and it's a good temporary stern line. So yeah, tie everything down and shut off the old diesel, and take off the personal safety flotation device. Call it quits. I'm back in the marina. I got everything put away, and now check out the weather. It's beautiful again. You got some kiteboarders out there with their big kites up because the wind's probably 10 knots. Laminate, like nice and even. And there's blue sky and the sun is poking through the haze. It's one of those magical Sonoma County moments. And I quit too early. I should have stuck it out. I should have put on my big boy pants and stuck out the the little windy rainstorm. It was cold though, and there's no need to push it, so I guess I'll try again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all you patrons out there. If you want to help out, you can totally help out by clicking the patron link below. You can help out for as little as $3 a month, and everybody counts. So big shout out to my patrons. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time.